Here's your host, Alex Garrett.
All right, well, my interview today will actually probably go into the 9 a.m. hour, but I wanted to bring on, firstly, on Keep It Real with Alex Garrett. Welcome to today's show. I wanted to bring on my new buddy, Radio Hope, Mike Myers, for a daily check-in. So, Mike, tell me if you like this idea. I know you may or may not watch CNN. I don't watch it often, but I've watched enough to see the handoffs between hosts when one host throws it to the other when they start their program. I thought, why not try that with you? Obviously, they were doing it a little earlier, but how cool of a concept. If I went live at 8, then threw it to you for 9, I think that'd be a pretty cool system to start.
I think it's an incredibly great idea.
Because, and you know what I was thinking, maybe you agree or disagree, but I think we should have like a podcast channel of 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. programming, like an hour, a podcast for an hour going live, handing it off to each other. It'd be so cool.
Well, and the concept that I really love is the fact that you're in New York.
Right, yeah.
I'm in central Iowa. I mean, things are a lot different in New York when you did your show from the subway. I don't know what a subway looks like except a sandwich.
I got to show you a video I made too, because Subway on Wall Street is actually, there's an actual Subway restaurant next to the subway station. And I thought to myself, what a product placement if I've ever seen one. So, so no, and those subs are damn good. Someone told me it's not healthy. I'm like, it's healthy enough for me. I'm going to enjoy it.
I was going to say you only live once, but for those of us that are children of the King, it's an eternity. Isn't it wonderful? You know, I guess to touch on the Good Friday thing, what's so good about Good Friday? I mean, Christ was crucified that day. Well, what's I don't get it. Why is that good?
That's always been the question. Although I tell you, the weird thing is I woke up at dawn and I was like, this is so weird because this is the time Peter denied Christ. Why am I waking up at this time exactly? It was very strange to me to look at the sunrise and think at that moment Peter was. It was a very weird thing that I was thinking as I woke up this morning.
You are stirring up in me some stuff. Sunday mornings, well, Easter morning, I would sit on top. There's this one place I would sit when I got saved, when I came to faith in Jesus. I'd go to this park and sit up on top of this hill, and I would watch the sun come up. And it was like, what an incredible reminder, because he is risen, as we know, risen indeed. But for me, I don't particularly celebrate, that's why when you asked about this morning when I read your message about Good Friday, I'm thinking I might not be the kind of guy that he thinks I am. I'm kind of a Matthew 24 or 7:24, 7 hours a day, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day kind of. He's on my mind, like, and I'm not saying that in a braggadocious way. It's just this. I'm addicted to Christ. We're going to talk about addiction.
Well, that's why I want to talk about it, because I thought you might have some thoughts on Good Friday. That's why I want to bring you on. And are you going to talk about that during the show as well today?
About addictions?
Well,
yes,
no,
absolutely.
About
that's what we're going to talk.
Oh, wow.
Well, no, this gentleman, Jeremy Davenport, is somebody who is employed at a place called the Rose Center, and it's an adult drop-in place for folks that have mental issues, which pretty much includes everybody, I think. And we're going to talk about addictions. He's definitely a follower of Christ, and it'll be a very interesting show. And we're doing it in the studio, so we're going to try to do the safe thing. I'm probably breaking a law here.
Well, we better not let Iowa police find out that you're having someone in your house during the show.
That's not funny. You know what they're doing at Walmart, right?
No, what are they doing?
They're only allowing so many people in. I think it's like...
At a time. Yep.
Yeah, but I mean, we're talking this humongous store in Boone, Iowa, and people are having to wait for the nod to go in as somebody else comes out. I'm having trouble just being out because, like I said yesterday, and you're talking about anxiety and don't be anxious for no thing. And I see how some folks are responding, and I'm like, I think I might just stay home and do some things that need to get done. I mean, does that sound weird?
Well, I want to put a brighter spot. At least Costco is allowing first responders to cut the long lines there. So I know that.
Oh.
Yeah, and I just thought you just triggered that reminder of me to let people know if you are a first responder and need something, Costco is letting you cut the line, which is a great thing. But
Yeah.
I get it. I get it. Why, when you see all this doom and gloom, why step outside with the chance of getting something? I get it. So hopefully May 1st is here sooner than later. You know.
And yeah, it kind of gives a different meaning to the word Mayday, or
Yeah.
words.
Yep.
And I'm getting my my new flagpole repaired. It's having trouble staying up. And I have the American flag, the USA flag, and right below it the Trump flag. And like I think I told you, I've taken some flack for this. I mean, everything's Trump's fault. I don't get it.
It's very strange. Well, so Jeremy Davenport, and then of course
Yeah.
the channel that we can find you on is Radio Hope. And now, when you stream live, do you announce that on Twitter and Facebook and elsewhere?
I think it automatically goes on Twitter, and then it automatically goes to. I have a Facebook page called Radio Hope. It's just on Twitter and Facebook, and I'd love to get this out there more, not because so I can have bigger numbers, but you and I know hope, faith, hope, and love. The greatest of these is love. No wonder people are freaking out.
Yeah, because they're not being told there's hope out there. That's the problem.
Yeah. And, I'm going to throw something out to you that I think is really neat. I was talking to Ed the other day, and we're actually talking about you. Don't know if your ears were itching, but you do have an incredibly positive outlook on stuff, and it's catchy. And I would like to have that same kind of, hey, did I get some hope on you?
Well, and you've inspired me to wake up and do something more than just podcasts every couple of days. You've inspired me to really start building something with you, firstly, as a podcast to podcast, and say, hey, I've got this great friend coming up, and you've inspired me to get stuff done earlier at 8 a.m., so thank you for that, and your words are inspiring, too, and just everything about the way you operate, and I love the way you commit to podcasting every day. I wish I had that commitment, and you're striking that fire in me now.
Well, you know what? As I was cleaning stuff off of my desk here, as I got a couple of other microphones and putting stuff on my pool table that's loaded now with stuff, and I can't play pool, I'm thinking, I am just grateful for this fellowship that's developing between you and I. What a great time for this to happen in a world that just seems so chaotic. And we know that we're united in that same, one Lord, one faith, one baptism, one spirit. It's just one body. It's just powerful.
And by the way, could Easter not come at the most perfect time right now in the way everything is going? I think his presence is going to change things. I really, really believe it. I think it already is. I think these, number of intubations declining. I think the people off ventilators that are off ventilators, that's a godly thing right there. And so we're seeing that in Holy Week.
Yeah, and there you go. Holy Week. I mean, I didn't know what the whole gist behind Advent is. I'm somebody, I have a friend of mine that's over in Spain, and he'll be doing an Easter message this Sunday morning at 8 Central Daylight Time here on the Radio Hope Show. Oh, by the way, if you go to if you just put radiohopeshow.com, it takes you right to the Spreaker page.
That's great. That is really good.
And what I was going to say is, evidently, I think Martin Luther had said this a few years ago, preach the gospel to yourself every day. What great news. Oh, I get pumped at times. I just get so excited. I need this. Like I said, that's why I do this every day, because I tend to struggle with being down. And there's one who, as long as I keep looking at him, looking to him, there you go. If he be lifted up, and I'm like you. I hope the whole world is drawn to him and they know what it means to live. I mean, the giver of life, just amazing.
Hey, Mike. So
That sounds
Radio Hope, you are on every day, not just Monday through Friday.
every day. I hit at 5 seconds till 8. I hit the broadcast button at 8 o'clock. It's the radio in me. It's probably a little.
Now,
I
let
don't
me
know.
ask you, when you get the live stream cranked up, do you wait a couple minutes or do you just start as soon as the stream began?
I start as soon as the stream begins, and there are times where I've been frustrated. It's like, why isn't anybody here to listen to this great message that I? And now it's like, Mike, my wife has said this. She said, "Is this about you or about him?"
Mm.
She is a great lady.
Mm.
I got to tell you, I am so again blessed beyond measure. Oh, and it's
is
a
it
reminder
about,
to be thankful.
is it about you and I, or it's about the messages we're trying to put out? See, I think people leaning on radio and podcasting in these days don't want to turn on what they're seeing on CNN and Fox News. They want to turn on what regular people, everyday people, have to say about the situation. That's why our listenership could be increasing, because they want to see the messages out there.
Oh yeah, and it's. Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. I think it's a fantastic idea. I think Ed has been talking. Ed Delgado of the Caramel Conservative has been talking about this, for a while. And my goodness gracious, it's a fantastic idea, Alex. I can tell. Can I ask how old you are?
I'm only 28 now, so this would
You,
be
you,
this would be my 29th Easter.
oh my goodness. Well, I tell you what, I'm sure excited, and I'm a little jealous that you get to do what you do for a living.
Producing
but I'm also
radio is one of a kind. It's a different kind of animal, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that would make a great interview right there. I mean, you're behind the scenes, making sure that the controls are adjusted. It's kind of like what's going on. This thing with the video you showed.
Yeah, well, and
I was sitting with my wife yesterday. I said, it'd really be cool. Go stand in front of our local hospital and just start applauding.
Yeah. Well, is that happening in Iowa or not really?
No. And then what she said was, you'd probably be standing there a long time by yourself. And I said, I don't know. Maybe yes, maybe no. Well, so if I do, I do. What's wrong with I'm not doing it to draw attention, except to those people that are on the front lines. And then she was talking about, but my brother's working at a meatpacking factory and they don't get any kudos. And I said, but see, there it is. These people aren't asking us to worship them. Right. They are just doing their jobs.
They're very humbled and actually brought to tears when they see the outpouring of love. It's not like, oh, great, thanks for applauding. They're like, no, we don't deserve this. We're just doing our jobs. And I kind of like those kind of people. Like, no, I don't deserve the applause because I'm just doing my job. But yet everybody else around them sees them as something different and better than that, which is great.
Amazing. There is so much to this. Just all of what's going on. And like you said, I hadn't really stopped to look at the timing of this, but it is. What you going to do when your number's up? What if somebody finds out they've got this or they find out they've got stage 4 cancer?
Right.
Where's the hope?
Well, I know you supply it every day on Radio Hope, and we're going to turn to you at 9 a.m. Eastern. And also, I'm going to have Ray Negron on just after you. He's a Yankee advisor, and he was
nice.
He was, pretty much saved by George Steinbrenner after graffitiing outside Yankee Stadium, and now he's made a whole life 40 years later, showing his life back as a kid being brought in by Mr. Steinbrenner into the Yankees family. It's pretty incredible stuff. So, if you have a chance to listen before the show, that's great. And then also, Sunday for Easter, if you're going to go live, I might bring you on for a minute then too. I don't know what I'm doing tomorrow yet, but that's TBD, as they say. But on Sunday, I'm playing Paul Winter. He has the consort at St. John the Divine, which is where I always go every Easter since I was 6 months old, or a few months old, my dad and my mom. And so I'm going to play some of his music that he plays through the cathedral. I'm going to play some of it on Easter Sunday for the St. John the Divine parishioners that may or may not know I have a podcast, but they'll hear some of what Paul is doing during this quarantine through his music. So.
And on Sunday, I'm having this gentleman from Spain. His name is Miles McKee, and he will be doing an Easter sermon on Sunday morning live from Spain, and I'm really excited about it. I haven't really, listened. What's that old saying? I'd rather see a sermon than hear one. Maybe that's what God would have us be about right now, and showing His love for others in this chaotic, very dark for many, many, many of us time.
Well,
I don't know.
I'm curious to hear that, because I know that he's Irish and he went from Ireland to Spain. Is that what happened? I mean, I know he's an Irish pastor, isn't he?
Well, he's actually he's an evangelist. Now, he did call me a buck Egypt on more than one occasion, and we've actually had him here in Boone a couple of times when I was at the radio station. We did a yearly radio rally, and it was a packed house. Very interesting gentleman, and I'm hoping to bring him more into this whole podcasting thing, the amazing way that we can get messages within a matter of microseconds.
Right. Yep.
To the world is it's a little bit of revelation stuff in there, isn't it?
Huh. I have to
kind of sort of
deeper on that one. Oh, and tomorrow, what is on your show tomorrow?
Just me. I don't know.
Hey, you know what? Sometimes just saying what you feel like you want is on your heart is also great. I mean, sometimes I'm like, man, I really wanted that guest, but if I don't have him or her, I realize, well, then there's something I want to talk about too. So that's always a good thing as well.
Well, I try to be my own best guest, I guess. Guest. We talk a lot.
All right. Well, I'll let you get back to Radio Hope preparation, and we'll be listening at 9 a.m. Eastern on your channel.
Oh.
And I'm going to go now to Ray Negron. So, Mike Myers, thanks for joining me today.
Well, thank you so much for having me on. Really appreciate it, Alex. God bless.
And listeners, you can get used to this, because I think I'm going to do this every day and have Mike on either before my interviews or after as a prelude to his show. So I can't wait for this kind of experiment I'm doing and seeing how it goes. Mike, thanks for joining.
Thank you very much.
And
bye.
Indeed, bye-bye. And indeed, right now, Ray Negron and I actually did an Instagram live video yesterday, and I'd like to play you how that interview went down. Ray,
how are you? Number one, how are you?
Number one, I'm doing good. I've been working from home the last 2 weeks already. So I was in the city, as you might have known, for about 3 weeks, throughout the rest of all of March.
Right.
And now I'm just home working and doing what I can from home. So thank God for that.
Well, it's good to be on your show, the Alex Garrett Show, and it's nice to be on. And hey, you're a well-loved figure. I don't watch you, but I listen to your shows at the radio station with Joe Piscopo and all the other great Ken McCauley, all those guys, and it's a wonderful show, and they're lucky to have such a great producer as yourself.
Well, thank you. I just keep at it. I mean, I've got my own system here on this laptop to produce from home, so it's pretty incredible. How are you doing? I know that you've been going through. You got a couple sons as first responders, and we can wait for more to join, but start telling your story. Tell us what's going on with you, how you've been through all this.
Well, the number one thing is worry about my boys, because they're out there working all the time. And I'm nervous every night. I call them when they're on duty. I speak to my oldest son more because he works from 12 to 7 a.m. So at 2, 3 in the morning, I'm calling him just to make sure he's okay.
Well, how is his demeanor? I mean, being a first responder right now has got to be so tough out here.
My sons are cool as Kool-Aid, these guys. That's what worries me, is that they're too cool.
Okay.
You understand? They don't let anything bother them. That's probably why they're such good poker players. They know how to play, and it is what it is.
Well, this generation, as you know, is very invincible. I mean, a lot of kids still went to spring break while all this was going on, but clearly even the Yankees, who you work for, is abiding by the stay-at-home rule. So that is working right now, this mitigation that we're dealing with.
Well, you know more than anybody. I mean, you're up all these political figures' booty, so you you know what's going on, and I respect your knowledge of knowing these people, you know?
Man, I miss you.
I mean,
last time we saw each other, for those who don't know, was at Fort Hamilton in January. And man, I was just thinking, so much has changed since then, right? So much has changed. It's unbelievable.
Well, number one, I got to tell my attorney, Alex Hyman, to shut the hell up. He's goofing on me because I'm sitting in a car. I'm sitting in a car because I'm in an area where they have Wi-Fi. Okay, my Wi-Fi at home doesn't work that good. So if he doesn't like it, he can jump up a river.
Well, he said you're a national treasure, so thank you to Alex.
I'll accept that.
Hey, and I get it. Everybody wants to stay connected, right? So even if you got to go out of the house, it's got to happen.
It is what it is. You know, number one, I do this out of respect to you. You're an up-and-coming figure, and I would not be shocked if someday you're the mayor of New York City.
Well, that would be interesting, although I love my podcasting, but you never know, right? You just never know.
Well, so, you're young enough that within 20 years, you're still young enough to run the city.
I think it would be fun, and I think I could do a damn good job of it, but we'll have to see. I think you could run the city, right? You know everybody in this town. Hey, you know what? Maybe people haven't heard this story of you and Reggie running into Yoko Ono and John in Manhattan. That's such a cool story. Tell us about that.
Well, Reggie had hit 3 home runs in the 1977 World Series.
Right.
So naturally, he became the king of baseball.
Sure.
And after the World Series was over, about a month into the off season, he started to train. So part of the training regimen was to run in Central Park.
Right.
And I think this was about November, the end of November, and we went into the park and we started running. And halfway into the west side of the park, we see this man and this woman walking towards us. So I recognized John Lennon right away. You know what I'm saying? So I literally stopped. John Lennon recognized Reggie Jackson right away.
Isn't that amazing?
So he stopped, you know? And so I said, Reggie, it's John Lennon. It's John Lennon. And so when he saw that Lennon had stopped, Reggie stopped, came back, and they shook hands. And John Lennon said, wow, right now you're bigger than all the Jacksons put together, Michael Jackson and the Jackson 5. He said, you're bigger than all the Jacksons put together. And Reggie laughed, and they chit-chatted. It was a lovely moment. And all I did was just stare at the king of baseball, and probably at that time, one of the true kings of music, rock and roll, you know?
Right.
And it was something that I would never forget. And it's, you know, just, hey, come on, man. How many people can say they met John Lennon?
Now, is that the only time you met John Lennon?
Only time I met him. I had actually, when Reggie and John finished talking, Reggie...
Oh, right, there you are.
Yeah, I'd love to have you come to Yankee Stadium next year. So then Reggie said that he would have me drop off the telephone and all.
Right, I got you now, Ray. You're here.
Okay, and so what happened was I went over to the Dakota to drop off. You know, John Lennon lived in the Dakota,
okay,
on 72nd Street and the West Side, and so I went over there to drop off Reggie's telephone number and all that, but we never heard from him. You know.
Well, he was definitely influential, and that story of the both of them, and then you in the middle of it all is just, you had that kind of life, right? You were in the middle of a lot of different situations, which, you know, I'm sure people would be envious or want to know more about. I mean, you talk about it in Bat Boy, but those on Instagram that may not be following us closely, give us a little background on the story.
Well, you know, I just was always at the right place at the right time, or maybe the wrong place at the wrong time. You know what I'm saying? It depends on how you're looking at it. But is just let me just say that I had some moments. My moments with the great Frank Sinatra is something that I'll always cherish.
Right.
Because if you walk into Patsy's and you go to the second floor at Patsy's, then you see the portrait that they keep there of Frank Sinatra, Sammy Davis Jr., Billy Martin, and myself.
Right.
And, I mean, to have something like that is such an establishment, it validates that I'm not dropping a bunch of BS on you. You know what I'm saying?
Well, and you know what else I can tell is your heart. You have so much heart when you tell these stories 40 years later.
Well, it's just that I know that I've been blessed. To have met you 20 years ago, I knew that I was blessed, and I loved the relationship that was established between you and George Steinbrenner. You know what I'm saying? I thought that was one of the most lovely things I've ever seen. The most powerful man in sports.
Yep.
And this little boy with one leg and on a roller skate. And you know what? And you were the boss's pal. And he was proud of that relationship. You know what I'm saying? And I love that.
Well, it's funny, and I can't believe it's 20 years, first of all. That is just, where did time go? That is out of this world. But, he actually said that exact thing in the Book of Wit. We had all these baseball signatures from all these different players, like Reggie, like Craig Nose, I think, Tommy John, others. Well, George Steinbrenner had a spot in the book, too. And he literally signed, "To my pal, sincerely, George Steinbrenner." So you channeled him right there, because that's exactly what he said in my book that I have to this day.
You know what? I'm glad that you had that time with him, and that you got to know a man who, you know what? The one thing about George Steinbrenner is that he was so good to the common person. He was so good to the lesser than, and he treated us better than he would treat royalty.
Oh no, he really did.
That's what I loved about him, because the royalties or the people of substance per se, it wasn't hard for him to tell them where to go. You understand?
Right.
Whereas he treated us more like royalty than the royals.
Well, because he saw. Actually, I saw a documentary on George Steinbrenner, which you were featured in Yankeeography, and the quote was that, I have to remember now, but it was basically, he was best to everybody. It was just amazing to see his work, and I love how Yes Network documented all his contributions outside of baseball. It's something that it's more than just you and I. It's a whole network of people.
Well, it really is, and I hope that the Yankees per se, that unique quality of how they deal with the community, that never changes. You know what I'm saying? Because that was something that he started and that he was very proud of.
Well, I know, I'm sure the community efforts have been a little slowed down by this, but there is no doubt, Ray, that in 2001, when 2001 happened, the Yankees were out there in full force supporting our men in blue, our firefighters. They were out there in the community. And now you're seeing them do these Instagram videos and Facebook videos. They're just as much in the community, even if they're staying at home. It's really interesting and great to watch.
Well, tell me what it is, because explain to me what's going on.
Well, I've seen Aaron Boone do a lot of videos saying we want to thank our first responders. I think I've seen Glaber do a few things, Giancarlo Stanton. I mean, the community feel, while we're all kind of closed up here, is not gone away from the Yankees. And I just wish when people say, oh, the Yankees are this and the other, they understand that they're more than just a baseball team. They are an organization that really does do outreach for their community.
Well, there's nothing phony about that. I mean, when you hire people to do just that, then you got to take it. You got to take that role very, very serious. Right. And I think that the people that do run this for the Yankees, that they do a very fine job in that respect. And I think that it's important.
The people like Gil, like Debbie Timon, she's in there. I mean, all you guys are doing Amazing job. Have you talked to a lot of players? Last time we saw each other was at the Thurman Munson dinner with Glaber. Have you talked to Glaber since then?
I speak to Glaber every couple of days, and I speak to Gio. As a matter of fact, I'm actually working on a book right now entitled "The Boss, the Bad Boy, and the Gigi Men."
Wow.
Okay, you have any idea what that means? The Boss, the Bad Boy, and the Gigi Men.
Well, Mr. Steinbrenner was the boss.
Right.
You were the bad boy.
Right.
You don't know who the Gigi Men are. You have to fill me in on that.
Glaber Torres and Gio Ursula. Gee,
Well, tell me
you get it? Do you get it?
Yeah. Well, what do you guys have in common? I'm curious now what you feel their common connection is.
No, because the book is about how George Steinbrenner helped this kid out, took him out of the streets, leaving, in essence, desirables that he used to hang out with, and he made something out of the kid. And in turn, all he asked for was that as time progressed, that he would, in essence, give that over or teach the younger players the importance of giving back. And two guys that are very close to my heart who have never said no to me in going to schools and hospitals is Gio and Glaber. You know, they have been wonderful. They go to the schools in the Bronx, and I love going to the schools in the Bronx because you know what?
What?
I defy the odds in going in. I don't care how many gangs and all that kind of stuff are there. We are there to, in essence, let the kids know that we love you no matter what, and we want to show you the light at the end of the tunnel, so that you know you can go through and you can make it.
Amen. Well, and I got to tell you, one school that you guys visited that's very close to my heart is the Henry Viscardi School, and you've had a connection with Joe Salonica for a while now with Steve Vaccaro. But you were able to get Glaber to the Viscardi School on our annual sports night. What was that like? What was that experience like?
It was great because there was you better go get a checkup.
Don't even. Don't say it. I'm good.
Hey, hold on. Let me put on my. Wait, hold on. Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
All right. Go ahead.
Oh man, we gotta do this more often. Anyway,
the Viscardi School was very important because they have kids with all different types of diseases. And this was going to be a challenge because I wanted to see how Glaber was going to handle that. And so what happened was there was a little boy who all he had was the upper torso.
Christopher Alvarez, my buddy.
Okay? Yep. Upper torso, little hands, and and Glaber went in and became friends with that kid and hugged the kid and gave him his telephone number, you know what I'm saying? And I said, does this mean that you guys are buddies now? And Glaber says, you better believe it.
That's
and
amazing.
I thought that was very, very sweet, you know?
Well, and Christopher's a fighter. I mean, he's been through a lot. And when I saw that picture, it was like, wow, the Yankees truly get it. Ray truly gets what this is about, what that school is about, and what life is about, too.
Well, you know, the one thing that I do miss a lot, though, is I used to love to be able to accomplish the toughest of the tough situations in the Bronx and Brooklyn, and then be able to get that little pat in the back from George Steinbrenner. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to be honest. I missed the pat in the back from him. I don't need a pat in the back.
No.
I don't need it, okay? But I loved it when it came from him. It was like a godly thing. You understand?
Well, I feel like he's with us to this day, patting us on our backs anyhow. But I get what you're saying. The physical touch is not there, and we miss him.
You know, it's just, hey, it was the boss, man. You know? It was the boss. He was bigger than life.
He really was. Now, I don't know if you remember this story, but I had a tendency of jumping in and out of the suite. But you don't know, I was in the suite with George Steinbrenner a lot of the time. I mean, almost every game my dad and I went up there for the game, he had us up in the suite. But Ray, one time, he was tired of me jumping in and out of the suite to my dad and his desk. He's like, all right, what are you going to be? Either here or outside. Make your choice. So he kind of knew I was all over the place, and I kind of liked that those are the Yankees understood my quirks, which is very cool. But then I'm like, you know what, I'm going to stay here. And being around that round table probably was the most life-changing, life-altering, meaningful thing up until that point for me that I remember it to this day.
Well, you had special privileges. And you know what's funny? The one thing that I learned from you, here's a little kid, 10, 11, 12, 13 years old, and there were certain people that were very jealous of you. And you didn't even realize how jealous
I had no idea.
These schmucks were. Okay, because what were you taking from them? But they hated the fact that you had the boss's affection. Because the one thing that these idiots didn't understand,
right,
was that, hey, they worked for him. You didn't work for him. You was his friend. You was his pal.
Right.
Okay? And that's a difference. So for those people, if they want to give up their $100,000 salaries and just be his pal, then do it. I didn't see them volunteering that. Right?
Right. But one thing is, and there's still a few there that gets the spirit of George Steinbrenner at the stadium. They still have a few there that get it. You're one of them, of course. But I remember when there were stories of him still paying salaries, still paying certain benefits if he did outlet someone go or something. He would still care for that family. It wasn't like, oh, you're fired and that's it, or we're letting you go and that's it. It was like, no, we're going to still take care of you because you're family. So that was a pretty admirable thing to do.
Well, that was the boss. That's the way he was, and you didn't have to work for the boss to get a little envelope when your family was in need. Because if he found out that somebody was in need, we used to call it the magic envelope. Because all of a sudden he had somebody delivering it. He would get the address of the people, and then he would have somebody to deliver it, and that was it.
Now, would you say it was your experiences prior to me, your experience through all this, or was it Mr. Steinbrenner watching him be in the community? What inspired your community outreach? Where did that come?
It's a promise that I made him in 1973-74 when I used to say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, and he said, don't thank me, just do the right thing by your people.
Mm-hmm.
And later on, he would say to me, I need you to be more in with the people of the Bronx because that's where he said, I can't ask anybody else in my organization to do that because
right.
they didn't live there. You come from there. You come from some very tough scenarios. So I want you to, in essence, do the right thing and just, hey, be my eyes and ears. He used to say to me all the time, you have to be my eyes and ears.
Wow. And so that's how you establish. Well, and you can establish all these connections with the hospitals. We can see videos of the players going into the hospitals. I'm sure you helped with those arrangements in the Bronx. I mean, those are some powerful images of these Yankees who, 27 world time champions, but they act like they are just as part of you and me. And I love that about this team.
It's just that we're all people. Mm-hmm. Like, look at what's happening right now with this whole coronavirus thing and all that. And I keep telling people that it's an equal playing right now.
Right.
It's an equal playing because this thing don't give a damn whether you're rich or poor, black or white, big or small. It doesn't care. It's going to bite you in the ass whenever it gets a chance to.
You know what I'm saying? And it's killed a lot of lives. I mean, there's no doubt about that, too, and we have to be extra careful.
Well, all you got to do is look at my Instagram posts. There's a nurse on there, a friend of mine, and literally she had to help wrap six bodies in sheets and put them in ice a couple of nights ago. Okay, and that's the bottom line. And this is what's going on over there.
Ray, I got to ask you, though, because there are a lot of people looking for hope right now and for an uplifting message, which you've always had, okay? You've always had that. So have you been thinking about ways to uplift people during this? Like, what is your plan to get people through COVID? Because you've got a lot of encouragement you can offer.
No, hey, you know what? It's the most important thing of all right now is that we have to take it one day at a time. Don't think about next week, next month, or next year. Think about now. Think about today. Think about the people that you're sharing your home with in this crazy, whatever you want to call it, whereas confinement. Okay, now you know what. Now, believe it or not, you know what house arrest is like.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
Oh.
Now, this is what house arrest is. But at the same time, did you ever read the Diary of Anne Frank?
I have. I should read that clearer, but no, I have not fully.
See, I'm ashamed of you because you should have read the Diary of Anne Frank when you was in school. All right, and when people tell me how messed up they feel and how hard they have it, I start to scream at them. And I tell them, mother lover, do you understand what a young girl named Anne Frank and what she had to hide in an attic for 2 years? Hide in an attic for 2 years with very, very little food. Very little food. All right, 2 years. You understand? Yes. In very, very, very hot weather and very, very, very cold weather. So please, this is crap that you're going through right now. This is nothing. The only thing that I ask is be careful that you don't catch the virus.
Right.
But other than that, come on, man. Just take it for what it is. You got cable TV. She didn't.
Well, we have a lot of luxuries that Anne Frank did not have, and we do take that for granted 1,000% of the time. Whereas I do feel like people who are at a disadvantage always come out of it more grateful than those who aren't. And I think I'd encourage those who maybe don't always flex the gratitude muscle to go to the Games for Physically Challenged, where kids with disabilities are participating every year. Where you're seeing they don't care about the future. They just want to do things now because that's their survival. And watching them overcome is such an inspirational thing as a volunteer to this day. And you see it too in the Bronx and elsewhere.
Well, nothing is promised to us. Okay, nothing is promised to us. All I know is like when I've learned so much by being your friend because I've never seen you act like you were at a disadvantage. And to me, you're at an advantage because of the kind of heart that you have. You have the greatest heart I've ever seen in an individual. You know what I'm saying? I love it.
Thanks.
So that's the bottom line.
I know I've been highly influenced by my folks, by Ray, by Mr. Steinberg. There's so many I could thank in this video because it's a team effort. And, of course, the doctors and nurses who are all applauding every night. By the way, have you been part of that 7 p.m. cheer? I think it's such a cool thing to watch the city just cheer and really lift up the nurses and doctors' spirits these days.
Oh, no, that's beautiful. It's beautiful that happens. And at the same time, I like to cheer when no one else is cheering because I don't want that cheering to end. You understand?
No, I get you. And, I was just thinking about this. Doctors have been doing this their whole life. They've been saving lives and working to save lives their whole life. It's just now they're getting a lot more attention. But I get it. We should celebrate them every day, even not during a pandemic.
Well, I've been lucky to have such good friends, especially in the last year. I developed a great relationship with my friend Gil Costanza, or Cosenza. Someday I'll learn how to say his last name.
Hey, Gil.
And because he has the kindest heart. He has such a kind heart, such a good person. And even though he's a part of the mafia, he's still great. Gil, I'm just kidding, Gil. Just kidding. Take it easy, sonny.
Man, when I get you on, I have a disclaimer. The views and the expressions are not of me, but of my guest, Rick Negron.
Oh, thanks. Put it on me. He gave me the script. It's here in the script.
This is great. So, always calling Sammy, whoever that is now. But, no, it's there are some good people in your circle, too, like Steve Vaccaro, like...
the problem with Steve Vaccaro is that he just doesn't stop eating. And I never understand what the hell he's talking about because he's got food in his mouth all the time. And so now with this whole coronavirus thing, I have to keep away from him because the food keeps throwing out, and I got to be careful that one of those particles don't land in my eye.
He's doing an amazing job, though. If you've been watching his Instagram, it's done amazing stuff. Or in Facebook, too.
He is amazing. Steve is amazing.
And you've both produced this show, and this is kind of where I wanted to angle it to. What's up with Bad Boy? I mean, you had to cancel 9 shows, which is just unbelievable and tragic. But you guys are on the rebound, right? You're going to rebound from this like anybody else will.
I'm going to start showing parts of Bad Boy on Instagram, probably every Monday. We're going to show, or on the weekend maybe, we're going to show scenes from Bad Boy and the great talent that's involved. I mean, we have some Broadway actors and some film actors and some former major league athletes, baseball players like Mickey Rivers.
Right.
So to do a show like that is incredible, and it's something that I'll never forget because I achieved my dream of having my play done.
Right.
And I am forever grateful to Chaz Palminteri because he's the one that pushed me to do it.
Oh, wow. He's a good man, and he has on Joe Piscopo a lot, too. And you guys know each other. All 3 of you know each other, so. Well, has he given you a lot of guidance with this, or what was his...
All the time. He, number one, the most important guidance that he gave me was not to be afraid to do it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because most people, when you don't do things in your life, at the end you say, man, I should have done this or I should have done that. And I can honestly say that I can't say that because I have tried everything. I wanted to be an actor. I have done probably a dozen films. I have been co-stars in films. I have produced films, and I wanted to do a play. We were supposed to do 2 shows off Broadway in July, and unfortunately those will be canceled now. And but we will be back. Bad Boy shall return.
And I just noticed the hat. That's awesome that you're wearing.
Listen, we have to get the only merchandise that I want to see is the coronavirus vaccine, whatever that may be,
that's
so that we can go on and do the right thing. Right now, I don't want to even talk about merchandising or anything like that. I hate it because the only thing that matters is for us to get our world back.
Yep.
We have to get our world back. This is not the world that I know. This is a science fiction movie that I'm living right now. I don't want to live science fiction. I want to live a musical. You understand? That's where I want to live.
Well, speak into existence, brother. That's what I like to say. Speak that into existence.
Right.
But I do know, you just mentioned your movies, and Bottom of the Ninth, is that streaming where people can watch it online? I mean, can people pick that up?
Bottom of the Ninth was believe it or not, was the #1 film on all airline flights. I don't know how it happened, but it happened, and so I would get people calling me from airports all around the world. Hey, I saw you in Bottom of the Ninth. Wow. Hey, I didn't know you did that movie. Hey, and it was, where are you? In Bangladesh.
They got to follow you because you actually post a lot of teasers when you're in a movie with Bottom of the Ninth now. So I've seen a lot of those promos. So you're very good at getting the word out about that.
Well, the movie that I actually want to get out there at this time is I produced a film a couple of years ago named Henry and Me.
Oh yeah.
It was an animated film starring Richard Gere, Chaz Palminteri, Danny Aiello, Cyndi Lauper, Louis Guzman, I mean, quite a few people. And I want to show it now to the children because it's an animated film. So I want the kids to see it.
Right.
Because a lot of kids, this new generation of kids have not seen Henry and Me, so I got to bring it out.
You do.
Oh, Hank Steinbrenner is in that film. Hank Steinbrenner is very, very good as the voice of his father.
Well, you know, and you made a book about that too. Henry and Me was a book as well. So that just made an elevation into movies, which is great. And where can people find that if they want to watch
Amazon. Go into Amazon. You can find it on Amazon. You can find all my books on Amazon. You know, especially the last one, Yankee Miracles.
Yeah, well, you made a book about that too. I mean, that's on there too.
Yankee Miracles is being turned into a miniseries.
Man.
When we get our world back.
Yeah.
When we get our world back.
But you know what? I think it's good that you're talking about this now. We need to get people looking forward to after this. And any project you got coming up after, let me know, and I will promote more.
Good point. Good point. That's a very good point. Is that like I said, there is a light at the end of the rainbow. We're going to get our world back. We are going to get our world back, and let's enjoy it. We're going to enjoy it. And you know what? Anybody that doesn't appreciate our world when we come back is a real kugats.
I got
okay?
you. Hey, Ray,
all right?
Are you on Twitter too? Like, your Instagram is Ray Negron Yanks. What's your Twitter?
Same thing. They're all Ray Negron Yanks. You go into any of them, Ray Negron Yanks. And especially Instagram. Instagram, I post twice a day.
I know, you're very busy. You're doing baseball drills for us. It's great to see, actually.
How about my basketball shots?
And basketball, too. Yeah, you're doing it all.
Okay, my 25-foot jumper from three-point range. Okay?
I have to look at that one. I did not catch that one.
Well, go check it out because I do 2 shots on there. Okay?
Okay, I got to check that out. We should all check that out. Hey, Rick, you just mentioned Danny Aiello, and I know that this community loved him and knew him very well. Any favorite moment you have with Danny Aiello? I mean, I'm sure there were many.
Danny Aiello is one of the great all-time actors. I will miss Danny Aiello forever. We lost him this winter.
Yep.
And, man, I miss him every day. I think about him. You know, he was such a good friend. Such a good friend. You know, he never big leagued me. Even though he was an Academy Award nominated actor, he never big leagued me.
Yeah, and he was also part of the Verizon